All right, everyone, Donald Trump invoking the legacy of Ronald Reagan just a short while ago in his first major foreign policy speech, saying this. Watch.
Democrats and Republicans working together got Mr. Gorbachev to heed the words of President Reagan, our great president, when he said, "Tear down this wall." History will not forget what he did. Very special, special man and president.
But what would President Reagan say about the current state of the Republican Party in the 2016 election? Here with me right now, his son, the son of President Reagan, the author of the new book, Lessons My Father Taught Me, The Strength, Integrity, and Faith of Ronald Reagan, conservative columnist Michael Reagan. Good to have you here. Welcome, Michael.
Hey, it's good to be with you. If I could just react to what I just saw.
Go ahead.
I mean, first of all, my father was working with Pope John Paul, Lech Walesa, Václav Havel, Helmut Kohl, and Margaret Thatcher. That's how the wall came down, not meeting and working with the Democrats at all. And in fact, no one in my dad's administration wanted him to even say, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." Only Ronald Reagan and a few congressmen wanted my father to say that. So Donald Trump has a little bit of it out of flex there with how it really went down, how it really happened.
What would your dad think about everything that's transpired?
Yeah, my dad, somebody said to me, and they say to me a lot, "Boy, we wish we had your father back." And I said, "What makes you think he'd want to come back?" I think he would be...
Because politics has changed, right? I mean, drastically.
I think he would look at things they are today and say, "Why did you take everything that I worked for to build, relationships all over the world and everything else, why did you take that and turn it on its head?" I think that's what he would see. It's
been squandered in the last 8 years, and even going further back than that. But as you look at Donald Trump out on the campaign trail, he's speaking a language that some folks have said is somewhat Reagan-esque, in that he is appealing to your average American and getting them excited about politics in a way that only your dad did. What do you think of those comparisons?
Yeah, but how do you bring all those people together after you demean them and bring them together in November for an election? My father was not mean-spirited towards anybody. I talk about that in the book. That's as, my father taught me. He wasn't mean-spirited. He was kind to everybody. He didn't make fun of people. He didn't call people names because he knew he would have to work with those people at some other time in his life in politics. Here's a man who actually found a way to work together with, the Mikhail Gorbachevs of the world. Somebody who had to work together with the Speaker of the House in order to get his tax plan put through in August of 1981. And so if you're demeaning people and calling people names, those people are not going to come over for dinner and come to the table to get things done.
I think this is one of Trump's weaknesses, in that this is his challenge. On the one hand, he talks very plainly, very simply, and it's a message that I would say resonates right now, in part because of the frustration American voters have given the last 8 years. But at the same time, there's a quality to him where, as you said, it can get mean-spirited, it can take sort of an off-color turn, and you think, as we make these Reagan comparisons, yeah, there may be some qualities there, but on the other hand, your dad was like a full-on class act through and through. So how do you look at those comparisons and get frustrated at all?
Well, yeah, I get frustrated that everybody seems to use my father's name here trying to compare themselves to Ronald Reagan, Donald Trump being one of them. I mean, he took my father's "Let's Make America Great Again" and put it as part of his campaign and what have you. And I tweeted out a few weeks ago at my Twitter account at Reagan World, and I tweeted this. If Donald Trump or Ronald Reagan were anything like Donald Trump, Nancy never would have married him. Just never would have married him, let alone have children with him or voted for him. So quit trying to make the comparison to Ronald Reagan, because the reality of it is, like my 33-year-old daughter Ashley says, I vote for the person who I relate to and the person that I like.
People, though, they relate to him and they like him. I mean, he's got a sense of humor. He entertains them. And there's a likability factor that a lot of politicians, frankly, just don't have. Mitt Romney, he didn't have it. John Kerry, he didn't have it. Hillary Clinton, she doesn't have it. So Trump, at least, has that. If you were going to try and package him as the candidate for the Republican Party, what would you change?
Tell him to change parties. That's what I say.
We had a Democrat on earlier on who made
I think what he's done, whether he wins or loses, he has changed the Republican Party forever. And that's just a fact. He has absolutely changed it.
But in some ways, maybe, Michael, that's for the best. I mean, you think of the Republicans and how little they've been able to accomplish in the last 8 years, how frustrated Americans are with their economic lot in life. Maybe there does need to be a shakeup. Maybe this is
blames
it.
the Republicans for all this stuff that's going on. You know, a lot of people don't know that the last Congress, the Congress before last, was the only Congress since 1951-52 to actually cut spending. But the Republicans never get credit for the things that they do. They only get credit for the things that they don't do. And I think what you have here, and to be honest with you, is you probably have the candidate that was born and raised in the talk radio era and the social media era.
Yeah, I think so too. And, you know, the reality TV era that, you know, there's things that you say nowadays that you wouldn't have said before.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, what was the most important lesson that your dad taught you?
Love. Really, to love.
Yeah.
And that relationship he had with Nancy, the relationship he had with his grandchildren, Cameron and Ashley, relationship he had with me. But he just really taught me how to love. There's a great letter in this book, lesson my father taught me, about the letter he sent me when I got married. Notes he would send to his grandson Cameron, and stories he would tell me and regale me with as we would drive out to the ranch. And the one thing about my father, remember, 20 million children would go to bed tonight without a father in the home. My father, after he divorced my mother, never forgot about his first family, never forgot about Maureen and I, knew the importance of being a father and being there for your children, even if you've left the marriage. I think a lot of us can learn from that.
Yeah, you are so right. I mean, it's so important for our society to have men in their families. It's less and less so these days.
Less and less these days, true.
Thank you. Michael, good to have you here.